Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a base model Jeep Wrangler 2-door. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy for giving me some time with this Wrangler. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 20 around town and then 23 on the highway, with power outputs being 270 horsepower and then 295 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. I've always thought that the 1941 decal is kind of a cool thing on the Jeep, especially this one. You've got the nice contrast with the black and the white. Anyways, popping down below, you do have the more baseline lights with the sport package. You also have the plastic bumper, but you do have recovery points and fog lights, and it still has an aggressive approach angle being a Wrangler. And so yeah, you've got that signature Jeep look. Around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 245 by 75 by 17 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see here with the wheels, you've got the metallic gray there. You got a little Jeep in the center, which is always fun. And I mean, these aren't the most aggressive tires, but they could do a little bit of off-roading. And you do have a solid front axle, so that helps out. Got these unpainted fender flares with this package. You can see the Jeep Wrangler badge there on the side, and then you got your trailer rated badge above that. No rock rails or anything with this. Solid rear axle, and then being the 2-door, you got that cool old school Jeep look. And this leads us to the key fob where we have our lock and unlock function. You've got the little flip out key, which is pretty neat. And then we have the Jeep logo there on the back. And now popping into the back, easy to open with the swing gate. It's very light, small tire on the back. Got the cool JL decal right there. And then, as always, open up the window. Not a massive amount of space because of the 2-door setup. So that's one downside with this compared to the 4-door. Anyways, closing it's all manual with the operation, pretty easy with that. You got the more baseline taillights. You do have a recovery point there in the back, which is nice. And there's the rest of the rear. Now popping inside, you actually get some soft touch where you can rest your arm, which is nice. But you'll notice here with the mirrors, they're actually also power adjustable, which is also nice. Heated mirrors. We've got cloth seats with this. They are manually adjustable, and I think payload's always important, so I'll quickly show that to you guys. 700 pounds of payload on this. Very interesting on that. But yeah, you've got these cloth seats, and I'm actually going to pull this one here. I guess that wasn't enough. Oh, this one. There's a better tab. So I just want to quickly show you guys the back seats. You can actually fit people back there. You can see the legroom's not terrible with it, but getting into the back of the 2-door is the hard part. But once you're back there, it's not too bad, and you've got these large windows here on the side, so it kind of creates quite a bit of light back there. So not a bad place, but you know, not the most user-friendly. Again, 4-door is way more practical, but there's that part. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, we've got soft touch all around, radio controls on the back, a bunch of practical controls on the front, including adaptive cruise control. Got some controls there for the center as well. Just your regular stocks here on the back. And then we have a mostly analog gauge cluster. You do have that digital element, which you can scroll through and see vehicle information. So it's actually pretty useful. In reverse, we do have a backup camera. And yeah, the bigger infotainment system doesn't give you more camera, just gives you more screen with this section. But when it comes to climate, we do have our single zone climate system with this, so nothing too fancy. Again, it's kind of more of an entry-level Wrangler, but you still get the bigger screen, which is interesting, and you still get this kind of like nice trim in the dash, of course, grab handle below that. So physical buttons for the radio, climate, auto stop start, stability control. You also have a little off-road cruise control with this, which is nice. And then you can see here with the little USB port section, window controls there, got 12-volt, and then this does have a 2-speed transfer case, 2-wheel drive as well, 8-speed auto. If you want the V6, by the way, you can't get this, the 8-speed auto. You can only get that with the manual now. We've got the parking brake here, some cup holders, Jeep's famous center console that's famously small, but nice lid there. At least the glove box is also small. Ah, got you guys. Anyways, we've got the hard top of this, so you've got all of the latches to pull the front section off. No insulation or anything like that with this one. So, quite a bit of glare, but this is a Sport S, so it's not technically a base model, because the Wrangler starts at 32 grand. But anyways, we've got a few options on this, and after all options, it's 42,300. So almost, yeah, it's like 10 grand more than base price. But, you know, a lot of the options are worth it. Let's see how it performs. Well, let us set off in the two-door. Visibility throughout. Too bad. Should turn on the climate controls here. There we go. It's set to cold because it was quite warm the other day. We're finally getting some snow. I shouldn't say finally. It's the beginning of November. But I don't know, the last few years here in Utah have been, sorry. Oh, I can't sit, that's stupid. I can't put the seat back any further. I feel like I'm like right at the steering wheel. The last few years of Utah have had quite a bit of winter precipitation, and it seems, I mean, we'll see, right? Knock on wood. Hopefully this year's good too, but yeah, it seems like this year is going to be good. We had a really dry summer, but we've gotten some decent precipitation so far early on. Anyways, the two-door, it's a cool Wrangler. I'm sure that many of you that are watching this probably also watch TFL, and I've liked their little series they've been doing on their base model two-door. I think it's a really cool series. This is kind of similar to what they purchased and I've been doing a series on, and it's a really good setup. First off, when it comes to on-road ride quality with the two-door compared to the four-door, this just doesn't ride as well. Basically what you have is shorter wheelbase, and shorter wheelbase vehicles, they just don't soak up things as much, right? You hit the front end, you hit the back end right in line because they're so close. And so you get that, and then you kind of get the lack of stability. And that's one of the things that's really annoying with driving a short wheelbase vehicle on road that's top heavy and tall like this. Is, yeah, the stability is lacking quite a bit. And so although it kind of feels zippy because it's short with the wheelbase, it also feels kind of tip-toppy, and so it's kind of somewhat of an exciting driving experience, but also different. They're probably having to drive really slow because their engine's on this last, I'm just kidding. I always gotta make fun of Range Rover drivers. They didn't use their turn signal. You can't do that. You're not in a BMW. You have to use your turn signal if you're in a Range Rover. Anyways, yeah, this 2.0 turbo is pretty sharp. It's an interesting choice by Jeep to get rid of the V6 auto, but my guess is it just comes down to emissions. It's always about emissions. It's always about pleasing the EPA. So that's at least my 2 cents on that. But you know, the 2.0 turbo's been out. It's not like they're, you know, doing the Toyota thing where they do a new powertrain and that's all you can get. Like, you can still get the V6, and this 2.0 turbo's been out for years, so it's had some time to get tested, and it's a solid engine. It's not quite as reliable as the V6, but it's still you can look it up. It still does well as a powertrain. And yeah, the torque with this is wonderful here at higher elevation. This area of Utah is like 4,400 feet above sea level. So, you know, turbos are nice to have. Turbos are definitely nice to have here. I do say so myself. And so, two-door Wrangler with the 2.0 feels really, really solid. And that's what you guys, hopefully, did you guys see that? How much the camera jostled? Like, that shows you how bumpy the two-door is. It really doesn't have great dampening. Again, it's because the front end hits and the back end hits not soon after, and so the body doesn't have time to really settle by the time the back end hits a bump, and so you go like just all over the place. It's kind of funny. But hey, as I was saying, this engine feels great in this. In the four-door, it's a little bit more lacking because the four-door is a bigger, heavier vehicle, and I'll have a review on that as well. I'm reviewing that blue one over there. But yeah, that's all I'd have to say on this. Is and also, like, those of you worried about turbo lag, look at this. It does have the little laggy thing, but it's got enough low end torque that doesn't feel bad. The only thing that I would maybe knock Jeep for is that this powertrain I think was great, I don't know, back in 2018 when this new JL came out. But now that there's a lot more competition in the market, it kind of makes this less exciting. I think that Jeep needs to throw the Hurricane in the Wrangler. And I think they should do both versions of the Hurricane. I think they should do the standard output and the high output. And maybe consider doing a traditional hybrid. The 4xe is notorious for some things. And so maybe downsizing on the battery pack and just doing something that, because I mean, this, if you paired this in the V6 just with the little 1 kilowatt-hour battery pack, do the same thing that Toyota basically does. No, I think that could, obviously that would help with the fuel economy, but it could also help out with the performance. This just needs a little bit more oomph right off the bat. But then that's it's a nice basic rig, and go watch TFL's series to see how capable this little two-door is, just with some off-road tires put on it. You can go places. Not necessarily most comfortable, but you can go places.